The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
And welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Tier Tuesdays here on the HighLowSports podcast. We appreciate you all for joining us here on this Tuesday evening, or if you're watching the video later in the week. Hopefully, you all had a wonderful, happy holiday weekend with your friends, family, and whatever else you could find in between. It is DJ, joined as always by my co-host Kelsey. And Kelsey, we had NFL football 4 out of 5 days this last week, so I, for one, am absolutely exhausted. And there was some good, some bad, some ugly, and some movement in the MVP race is what we'll call it. But we got a lot. We got a lot for this Tier Tuesday this week.
Yeah, it was a fun weekend, and honestly, I'm happy. There's only 2 weeks left, so we might finally get some solidification in the playoff race. And there might not be 22 out of the 32 teams or 32 teams, whatever it is, that are in the NFL anymore. So, yeah, like it's ridiculous. Over 2/3 of the league is still available for a playoff spot.
Absolutely. Nothing is locked in yet. And honestly, right now, if they ended today, the Bills would be the 6th seed. That's how wacky it is right now. If the playoffs ended today, they'd be sitting in the 6th seed. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. We're going to go top to bottom. The Ravens, after their showing on Monday, they get their own spotted juggernaut at the very top. They earned that. No ifs, ands, qualms, or anything about that. I think we're all in agreement there. Playoff contenders, these teams have already clinched a playoff spot, a division, and they're basically gunning for the Ravens right now. 49ers, Dolphins, who will play the Ravens next. Cowboys, Lions, Eagles, all basically gunning for the Ravens at this point. One way or the other, they'll be in the playoffs. The next blank space, I don't know what to do with Kansas City at this point. They don't get to beat those other teams at the way they're in, so they just get a blank space on here. That's pretty much what they get at this point. Coach of the year, Kevin Stefanski, they're 10 wins, only a game and a half behind the Ravens. 4 quarterbacks. Joe Flacco looks better than he's ever looked at age 500. Amari Cooper looks as good as he's ever looked. Hard to believe he's been in the league for almost 10 years now. It's crazy because it feels like he's still a young, spry chicken, and he looks like it. But Browns, Kevin Stefanski, coach of the year. They're better. They're pretty much the AFC's Cowboys, in which they're better than a lot of the teams above them, but they're going to be the 5th seed because of how divisions work, basically. In the hunt, all of these teams are right in the thick of it or are in the playoffs. We just have to wait and see because, as you mentioned, the entire damn league is in the hunt. The Bengals, Bills, Buccaneers are in there because of the NFC South. Jaguars, Colts, Texans because of AFC South and wild card. Rams, Vikings, all of them right in the thick of it. All kind of even playing field, it feels like. Like none of these teams, it's like, oh yeah, that's the one that's better than everyone. Because they're a figure 8 of how they beat each other, basically, it feels like. Tough decisions ahead. Some of these teams are in the playoff hunt. Some of them they're not, but they have some tough decisions ahead. Seattle, do you stick with Geno Smith? Do you go with Drew Lock? Do you look to replace him? Was that last season an anomaly? What do you do there? Atlanta, Arthur Smith is Jekyll and Hyde every other week. When he has a mustache, he's useless. When he shaves the mustache the next week, he's decent. Will he use his star players? We'll see. And you clearly need a quarterback because you benched Desmond Ridder for the rest of the season for the 3rd time. Saints, the Derek Carr experiment hasn't looked too great. Dennis Allen, a head coach, has been shaky at best. You have the worst salary cap situation in the NFL by far because of kicking the can down the road for 2 decades now. It's just absolutely broken. The Bears, Justin Fields, in the last 2 months, his numbers are identical to Lamar Jackson's. They're pretty comparable at this point. The difference is the Bears. That's pretty much the difference is he plays for the Bears. Do you keep him? Do you trade that #1 pick for a haul? Do you take Caleb Williams? Do you take Marvin Harrison Jr., that first pick, and say, screw it, good luck, everybody else? Some decisions to be made in Chicago for sure. The Raiders, same thing. You've won too many games to really be tanking at this point for a new quarterback, and after just blasting the Chiefs, your defense is weirdly good. Antonio Pierce, maybe you get it right with the interim coach this time and hire him after you messed up Rich Bisaccia a couple years ago. We'll see. Denver, Sean Payton, Russell Wilson, another year of it. You're kind of stuck with it. What do you do here? Some tough decisions of how they want to do with that moving ahead. Russ and Sean Payton didn't look to be on the friendliest of terms, you could say, during that Lions game as well. Like the way he was chewing out Russ. So Chargers, you need a new head coach. Is it Kellen Moore? You got to figure out how to fix that cap situation because it is a mess right now. Their salary cap is a mess, and they're just not good. And you got to keep Justin Herbert healthy. Steelers, you're going with Mason Rudolph this week. That is all you need to hear about that team right now. Not great. Both New York teams, the Commanders, the Packers, the Titans. The Commanders kind of could be in that top 5 mix, depending on if they lose out. The rest of these teams, too many wins to truly be tanking, but there's still there's a ways to go for the light at the end of the tunnel. We just saw Tommy Tomatoes be benched for Tyrod Taylor. The circle continues with the Jets. Draft season, the Cardinals and the Patriots, they're basically saying who's going to get 2, who's going to get 3. Is it Drake, May, Caleb Williams, then Marvin Harrison? Is it Marvin, Drake, Caleb? Is it Caleb, Marvin, Drake? They're just in the gunning to figure that out. And then the Panthers, you don't even get draft season at this point because you gave it away. You're just miserable.
Yeah, that looks about right, almost correct. I don't know about Tommy Tomato. I was going to go more like Tommy Dumpling. That would have been kind of my
Dumpling tomatoes.
for it, but yeah, it is what it is. As far as the bottom up, we'll just go bottom up. Panthers. I mean,
you look good against Green Bay, but you're still good luck.
Yeah, Adam Thielen looked good. Bryce Young finally looked a little like a quarterback in the NFL. A little bit like the guy who dominated college football for a while there.
DJ Shark.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, no, I mean, it's the Panthers. Draft season. Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. If it's the Cardinals, it better be Marvin because Kyler needs some help. Yeah, he actually looks like he wants to win right now. So that's part of it.
Get him some O-line. Give him something.
Yeah. This one is just what it is. Bailey Zappi looks the best that the Patriots offense has ever looked all season. So I said it before, say it again. Zappi season should have been a thing a lot earlier. But hey, you know what? What do I know? I just sit here and study the game of football for fun. So,
Brock Bowers, future New England Patriot.
I mean, he threw a touchdown to Mike Gesicki, and if I'm not mistaken, that's the first touchdown for Mike Gesicki in like 2 years. So, yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, it is what it is. Not great. These teams just disappoint consistently. I mean, it is what it is. The Titans get to play spoiler at the end of the season for one of the teams in the hunt for the AFC South. That'll be cool. And that's actually what the Titans are excited for. That's what Mike Vrabel is always excited for. But Derrick Henry finally started to look a little bit like Derrick Henry today. Not today, but this weekend. Unfortunately, it's just too late. This team's already done and gone. Jets, I mean, keep getting Breece Hall involved. Good things happen. Don't involve Breece Hall, and bad things happen. Who figured? Maybe Aaron Rodgers will come back in week 18 and give you guys a W. I don't know. But honestly, just at this point, wait until next year. The Giants, I don't know what to do with you anymore. Start Tyrod. You have so many questions again at quarterback going into next year. I don't even care anymore for the rest of the season for them. And that defense, I mean, just figure out something on defense. But outside of whatever the Santa down the chimney play was you ran yesterday during Christmas, I don't. There wasn't a whole lot of interesting things that the Giants are doing defensively. Thibodeau looks a little better. Obviously Sexy Dexy's in there, but outside of those two, that defense needs some help. And I guess Okereke as well. Or I guess Okereke. But yeah, anyways. Giants, whatever. Commanders, they're probably firing Ron. It's not pretty. The question is it going to be Bieniemy? Do they go after another quarterback? Maybe they get an offensive line finally. The questions remain unanswered until further notice, it feels like. Tough decisions ahead. The Steelers, do you keep Mike Tomlin or do you fire Mike Tomlin? That is the question. Better question is, does he get 2 plus 500 again this season? Because he can't finish 500 unless he ties. I guess is the only way he could possibly be close to 500. Because that'd be like an 8-8-1. So, yeah, can he get there? We'll have to wait and see. But it is a curiosity there. You said everything about the Chargers. I don't need to repeat that. Maybe look at getting a defensive head coach. There's a guy in Minnesota that's, really, really could use a head coaching job and will do a fantastic job with it. But I digress. Broncos. What a train wreck. I guess is the best way. Outside of Cortland Sutton and their running back group, this is a train wreck. Nick Benito without Nick Benito, that defense looked awful. And that's embarrassing to say. The Raiders, Antonio Pierce needs to be the head coach tomorrow, within this week. He needs to be a head coach. You just forget about it. Like if I'm him, I'm walking into Mark Davis's office and I'm like, contract, here you go. I'm not asking for much. Just pay me. I'll continue to coach this team, and you're welcome. Also, where'd Hunter Renfrow go in this offense? Did he just not even a top 6 receiver for this team anymore? When did that happen?
I guess he's podcasting now.
I guess. Who knows? Anyways, yeah, the Bears. The Bears. What a train wreck with this team as well. I mean, they're so good and so bad at the same time. I've never seen something just so astronomically opposite between a quarter to quarter, drive to drive, even play to play. It's just you'll see some of the best offense you've ever seen, and then you'll see, oh, what was that? But it's obvious. Justin Fields, DJ Moore, that's a fantastic duo. Get him some offensive line quality help. Get him some running backs. Watch what will happen. Maybe get a second fiddle who can actually catch the ball. Looking at you, Mooney.
Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Bears.
Oh, yeah, something to the Bears.
Yeah.
Saints, no comment on the Saints. There's everything bad about the Saints across the board. Honestly, your number one receiver in Mike Thomas I don't even know, has he even played recently? When's the last time?
He's out for the year.
This is what, 13 games in 3 seasons from Mike Thomas. You have Chris Olave actually looking like a 1, but he can't stay out of trouble off the field. I mean, it's only happened once, but still. Anytime Derek Carr continues to drive his receivers to drive too fast, I mean, it's just, at this point in time, just it's not working for you. Running backs, don't even get me started there. They can't do anything because your offensive line can't do anything. Your defense outside of Cam Jordan, still not great. But yeah, it's rough all around. The Falcons, Arthur Smith just needs to be fired. That's the tough decision, Ed. Just fire him already at this point in time. Get it over with. Tired of seeing first round draft picks not get involved. Although they finally got involved yet again, and look how good they look with Taylor Heineke. Go figure. Seahawks. Who's going to be your quarterback going forward? Is it Drew Lock? Is it Gino? What about your running back? Because Zach Charbonnet looks really good. Obviously, Kenneth Walker is that dude. Let's not kid ourselves. But then on top of that, you have receivers. Looking at your receiving core, you have to figure out what to do with Tyler Lockett going in next year. That's a problem. Yeah, I mean, you have to actually figure that out. And their defense, I mean, yeah, that defense is good and bad at the same time. I don't. Again, this is kind of like the Bears defensively. It's just you don't know what you're going to get each play. Maybe they'll give up 60 in a play. Maybe they'll give up negative, or maybe they'll get a sack for 6-yard loss. You just never know. In the hunt, I don't know how the Vikings are still in the hunt. Stop it. Just this one just needs to be like quell the bleeding, call it quits, let them go into next season and get Kirk 2 Chains back up and going into next year. Because right now it's just not pretty all around. The Texans without CJ Stroud are falling apart. It's literally right before our eyes type of thing. It's a tough situation. Case Keenum was not the answer. Davis Mills played a lot better. I know it was only in like 10 minutes of relief, but it still wasn't good. The Rams, Puka Nacua, man. Can you be any more spoiled if you're a quarterback? You have Puka Nacua doing what he's doing. You have Cooper Kupp doing what he's doing. If only you had a tight end or an offensive line to protect you. Maybe that would help. And then obviously Kyron Williams being the diamond in the rough that came out of nowhere. Congratulations, Rams, on that one. The Colts, Gardner Minshew. I don't copy and paste what I said about the Bears, just directly relating to Gardner Minshew. Just again, what is happening play by play, series by series, game by game? I don't get it. Yeah. I mean, he got all this hype because people started talking about Minshew Mania again, and then all of a sudden, boo. So, I don't know. Maybe he relies on Michael Pittman that much. I don't know. But they're most likely to win the AFC South because the Jaguars right now are absolutely atrocious. Since, 4 weeks ago when Lawrence injured his ankle, it has been downhill nonstop. Yeah, 0-4. There you go. So they got to figure it out. I don't know. Maybe get Etienne more involved. Maybe get Calvin Ridley more involved. I don't know what the answer is there, but their defense also has a ton of holes that need to be figured out too, and that's the problem. On the flip side of things, the Buccaneers, last 4 weeks have looked pretty good for the most part. I believe they're 2-2, 3-1 over the last 4 weeks. Baker might be the best quarterback in the league the last 2 weeks. It's kind of scary. Well, second best quarterback in the league, right? Last 2 weeks. Sorry, Jared Goff still has that title right now because Jared Goff. But yeah, Baker looks fantastic. Mike Evans, again, eclipsed 1,000. We kind of predicted that no matter what, it would happen. But on top of that, you have guys like K-Dot and Rashawn John, or oh God, I can't even think of the running back's name right now. He's getting involved. Godwin's getting involved. The defense is playing really well. I mean, literally, they got guys on defense. I don't even know who they are, and they're playing well. So the Buccaneers are figuring it out. Bills, they don't know what to do with themselves. Are they going to be great? Are they going to be bad? Are they going to be in between? I feel like this is kind of copy and paste for most of these teams that I've been going through. I mean, it's just they're so up and down. It is embarrassing. This is supposed to be one of the best teams in the league, and you can't do anything half the time. Like you don't know who you are. You don't have an identity. Your run game works some games, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it'll fall apart because James Cook has a fumble issue. I mean, give the kid some stickum or something at this point in time. I don't know. Just figure it out, though. On to the Bengals. Jake Browning. Yeah. Unfortunately, you're in the toughest division in the league. I mean, if this is any other division, you probably make the playoffs with Jake Browning right now. But you're not. You have a tough situation in front of you. And, I mean, you're just going to make the best of the Bengals. Unfortunately, you don't have a high draft pick because of it. So good luck with that. Yeah, I'm no comment there. The next one, this is the one that I'm really not enjoying very much. The coach of the year conversation with the Browns. No, I refuse to give Kevin Stefanski coach of the year. I will, however, give Joe Flacco comeback player of the year, guaranteed. I'd also even give him a second tier nod to to the Pro Bowl at this point in time. If somebody gets injured or doesn't want to go, then he should be next man up, because what he's been doing the last couple of weeks is absolutely insane as a quarterback. Mari Cooper came out and said he has the best chemistry with Joe Flacco that he's had with any quarterback previous in his career, and that Joe Flacco knows the ins and outs of the offense, and he has such a fantastically talented arm. And if that's not an indictment on any of the previous quarterbacks in which he's played with, I don't know what else could be. And yes, that means Dak, that means Deshaun, that means insert quarterback here who's played for the Browns or Cowboys in the last 5 years, as well as Carr. So it tells you a lot. And it's not just that. Joe Flacco's getting everybody involved. Just imagine how good this team would be with Nick Chubb. That's the biggest thing, right? Like, if this team had Nick Chubb, I don't think there's a question how good this team could really be. They still have a chance for getting the number 1 seed in the AFC. And that hurts me to say, because the team does not look like they should be 10-5 going into this week 16. It's crazy to me. So I guess actually week 17, right? So yeah. I don't know what the Browns are going to do, but the defense still looks fantastic. So, I mean, there's nothing against the defense. The defense is top tier by themselves. Blank space. It's the feeling in my heart every time I see this team come on the field and I bet on Travis Kelce, or I need Travis Kelce to do something for me fantasy-wise. And that's what's left in my heart, is just a bunch of blank spaces, because it's useless. Yeah. Somebody took a picture of Travis Kelce and it showed him with a hickey on it. And somebody said Taylor Swift sucked out all his talent. Honestly, I don't going to disagree with this after seeing him on the field. It reminds me of Cincinnati Travis Kelce on the field, where he's really just angry, not really focused on the game. Something else is in his head, because the way he's reacting right now is not the way Travis Kelce, the best Travis Kelce we've seen, reacts to things. And that's a little disappointment. I mean, he literally threw a temper tantrum on the sideline. Andy Reid had to pull his helmet away from him. Well, pull it from the aide that was going to give the helmet to Travis Kelce, and be like, no, he's not getting it right now. Like, that's just tough situation with the Chiefs all around. It's not just Travis Kelce. I mean, Patrick, you need to figure it out, and that team needs to stop dropping the ball too. That's just awful. The defense is doing what they can, but that offense is not helping them right now. Playoff contenders, I have no comment on any one of these other than the Lions are that team. They are clinched a playoff spot. And wow, did not think that was going to come so soon, to be honest with you. I guess the Eagles, I will say this. You got to figure it out, and you got to figure it out quickly if you're going to solidify this team. I don't know if you can make it through the rest of your schedule without losing and giving Dallas back to the number 1 seed. Dallas, you need to figure it out, because I don't think you can win out and take the number 1 seed from the Eagles, even if they stumble with the way they played this weekend. The Dolphins, Yeah, Tua might be a Tyreek assassin. I don't know. I mean, give Tyreek, give him Tyreek, and he can absolutely kill anybody. Take away Tyreek, and oh wait, he still had Jalen Waddle, by the way, dominate in the last 2 weeks. So quietly getting another 1,000-yard season with Jalen Waddle. I mean, obviously Tyreek approaching 2 will take away a lot of that shine. But this team is a stud. It wouldn't surprise me you see a co-MVP here, maybe potentially, with the guy in the next team, the 49ers and CMC and Tyreek. I mean, it would not surprise me we see that situation. But unfortunately, I feel like it's going to be Tua in CMC or just straight up Tua. Or potentially, because I have no additions to the Niners other than Brock Purdy is the guy I've been saying he is, which is a game manager. There's nothing wrong with that. He's a fantastic game manager. But he can't force the ball. You see that. If no developmental or plays are designed for him, he doesn't do well. And that's just kind of the issue. So what? Okay. You got a game manager. You're going to go win a Super Bowl with a game manager. Congratulations. It's because you have CMC. But potentially the number 1 MVP candidate right now, I feel like it's safe to say, is Lamar Jackson. Just continues to dominate. I mean, that defense too. Kyle Hamilton constantly around the ball. Marlon Humphrey constantly around the ball. I mean, between the two of them, they were involved with 3 of the 4 picks last night. So that's kind of insane. Actually, no. Yeah, 3 of the 4 picks last night they were involved in. So, yeah, Baltimore's terrifying. They're going to get even better once Ronnie Stanley's leg gets fixed up. And yeah, I mean, just imagine this offense is dominating without getting Odell involved. Minimal involvement, and this team is dominating. Rashad Bateman as well. Minimal involvement from Rashad Bateman last night. Still dominating. So yeah, I mean, I think right now the Ravens are that front runner. But yeah, I mean, this week really decided a lot of things for us. But I think it's set up that the Ravens are that team that you should be afraid of, and they're going to win close games because they have Justin Tucker. And then behind them, I feel like it really sets up San Francisco. And then there's a tier below them, and then it's like the Dolphins, the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Lions. Like I feel like that's just how we're set up right now, and it's gonna be interesting to see. But yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you have here. I don't really have anything to change much, except for maybe the Jaguars potentially approaching that tough decisions ahead commentary. So yeah, nothing really to change.
Division, they're going to dip. If they don't win the division, they choke away the division. Then they're going to have a lot of tough decisions. That is for sure. Like they've absolutely imploded. They've absolutely imploded. But this is what we are looking at for Tier Tuesdays. Everyone, go and let us know down below what we got right, what we got wrong, what you would change, and what is just absolutely right. Which the correct answer is all of them. But be sure to tune in on Wednesday as well for our full show. We will see you all again next week.